Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me today. This is Anyman reminding you that you have the power. And to help you with that power, we bring you part 1 of Shoninki. We've already gone through the introduction forward, so we're going to go through Shoninki Jo, the official introduction to the Shoninki. This foreword is written by Katsuda, civil servant of the Kishu province, written during the 9th year of the Enpo era, 1681, during the waxing moon at the beginning of autumn. And again, this is the translation originally produced by Editions Albin Michel from modern Japanese into French, and then by Jon E from French into English. So it may not be the most accurate, but it is useful. Forward. This book is an examination of the ancient traditions of ninjutsu and the art of the shinobi, which has long existed. More than that, it is a practical manual for military experts discussing attack and retreat, advantage and disadvantage. The strategies presented in great depth here are both the gate and the key. Every warrior should carefully learn them and become immersed in these precepts. Thanks to this knowledge, it is possible to assume a position of dominance during dangerous times, when reality can be turned upside down with a snap of a finger. Nothing is too difficult for the warrior who employs these strategies, even when he is subject to interrogation by enemy soldiers. He will be able to escape them even if he is not a particularly distinguished soldier, by relying on strategies that are centered on the possession of an unflappable heart. It is for this reason that people who are too young should not be recruited. If such people are chosen, it is as if you are replenishing your enemy's forces with your own soldiers. It is like giving food to a thief. This is why it is very important to be quite judicious in the selection of your people. By using the secret methods of ninjutsu, such as those written about by Fuji Noishuishi Masatake, it is possible to confidently take advantage of a skilled warrior, versed in numerous arts. Similarly, you can easily draw up a plan against the enemy who guides his life using his own rudder. These resemble the strategies of the Yamabushi who conceal themselves in the night. This book itself was once completed and published by hidden and scarcely visible means. Although the knowledge of ninjutsu may appear superficial and contradictory, it is far from being so. I am merely someone who has extended one part of the path, so it now seems unnecessary for me to waste any more time speaking on this subject. Katsuda, civil servant of Kishu province, written during the 9th year of the Enpo era. Footnote, this would be 1681, as the Enpo era lasted 9 years from 1673 to 1681, during the waxing moon at the beginning of autumn. 1. The authentic ninja tradition of our school, Toryu Shoninki. Although ninjutsu has existed in Japan since ancient times, it was revealed openly for the first time during the Genpei War. Footnote, the Genpei War is an important civil war in Japan that lasted from 1180 to 1185. It owes its name to the contraction of the name of its two opposing clans, the Minamoto or Genji and the Taira or Heiki. It ended with the victory of the Minamoto clan. Minamoto no Yoshitsune was one of the clan's most famous warriors. As it happens, this soldier was reputed to possess ninja teachings. It has also been established that his most faithful companion, Saito Musashibo Benkei, was a Yamabushi. When Minamoto no Yoshitsune selected valiant warriors to employ during the battle as shinobi. During the Keimu era, ninjutsu was used countless times by Kusunoki Masashige. Also known as the Kenmu Restoration, this period encompasses the years 1333 to 1336. Kusunoki Masashige was a samurai who lived from 1294 to 1336 and fought for the Emperor Go-Daigo during this period. Among recent generations, Hojo Ujiyasu. Footnote, Lord Hojo Ujiyasu, third representative of the Hojo clan, lived from 1515 to 1571. Employed the Nusubito Kazama. Footnote, Kazama is the name of Fuma Kotaro, a ninja from the Fuma clan who worked for the Hojo clan. The exact dates of his birth and death are unknown. To go to different spots in various provinces and investigate certain matters. Takeda Shingen of Kai Province. Footnote: Takeda Shingen, lord of Shinano and Kai provinces, lived from 1521 to 1573. Like Hojo Ujiyasu, he was one of the principal lords fighting for control over Japan during the 16th century. Employed people called Supa. These individuals were also Nusubito of this province. Eventually this knowledge reached the Koga and Iga regions. From there ninjutsu next expanded into other provinces until it became known throughout the country. As members of this group, we have exchanged a promise of universal scope. This is why we lend our assistance when a shinobi comes from another province. Footnote: this promise of mutual aid was only valid between members of the Kishu clan and who had swarmed across the land. As a general rule, the ferocious rivalry and quarrels between the different ninja clans, and most widely the various martial arts schools, were proverbial. If I visit another province, the person living in this area will show me his province. If this person visits my province, I will show him the secrets of the area, and reveal to him the secrets of my house, thereby putting the marvelous doctrine of this method to work. May the value of this art be recognized. However, as different generations who meet do not recognize each other with certainty, there is only a single torch inside our house. Author's footnote. Translator's footnote: it seems that this torch of the Kishu school is nothing other than the Shoninki, or at least the oral teachings recorded in it. As a personal note, I will say that the fact that it mentions a torch, and that the torch was connected to a house, and later, as we will mention in the section on creating a donohi, you can put a crest on the end of the donohi for light to shine out of. I believe it is this crest on a donohi that they're talking about. If anyone is seeking to prove his identity, let him brandish this torch and all doubts shall be dispelled. Furthermore, the Shoninki is a ninja traditional archive and a family secret. In order to help the expansion of ninjutsu, this generation shall become the transmission center for several shinobi families. Today the ninja tradition is passed on through the Shoninki. Although similar archives exist in other areas, this tradition is the true path of a shinobi from our school. Chapter 2. The different types of spies. Shinobi no Sumamono no Shina. The designation of 5 kinds of spies: local agents, interior agents, double agents, sacrificed agents, and reusable agents, came from China and has been continued in Japan, where the word Gokan or Tokan is used to describe them. The principle remains the same whatever term is used. He who can penetrate the essence of these different types and act independently is called a shinobi. When 2 or 3 act together as a group, they are called sonin. Today, inexperienced young people are employed in groups of 2 or 3, but this is not satisfactory. Caution is advisable when dealing with anyone who is not a specialist. It is preferable, even among experienced warriors, to allow them to operate individually, because there have been problems in the past when shinobi have worked as a group. Knowing how to direct an army takes great skill. Chinese spies. It is said that the shinobi originated in China, and that their art was first revealed during the reign of the Yellow Emperor. Footnote: this was the Chinese Emperor Huangdi, known as Kotei in Japan, said to have reigned from 2967 to 2598 BC, according to Sima Qian's historical memoirs. In China, he is one of the 5 mythical emperors of antiquity, and is considered to be the father of Chinese civilization. In an old Chinese scripture, Saden, footnote, this refers to a classic Chinese text, the Zuo Xuan, or Chuqin Zoshe Xuan, Master Zuo's commentary on the Annals of Spring and Fall of Liu, written by Zhou Quming. It takes the form of a commentary on the Chun Qiu, the Chronicle of the State of Lu, today the province of Shandong, attributed to Confucius. This text describes the events occurring in this state between 722 and 481 BC. However, the Zuo Zhuan goes beyond mere commentary to depict a longer historical period than the Chunkyu, until 468 BC. In Japanese, the translation of this book is known as the Saden or Senju Sahiden. The shinobi were called Cho. Later they were also called Saisaku. Tradition maintains that a person in the service of the king of To secretly introduced himself into the home of the king of Jo and killed him. Footnote. Concerning this individual in the king of To's service, tradition maintains that it was Yi Ji, better known as Yi Yin, who worked for Qing Teng, founder of the Shang dynasty. There is apparently some confusion on the part of the Japanese author of the Shoninki concerning the assassination of the king of Jo. Historically, the king of Jo designates the emperor Chu, or Shao Xin of the Shang dynasty, but it was Emperor Ketsu, the king of Jie Gui, the very last emperor of the Ka or Xia dynasty, who was murdered for the benefit of Cheng Teng. One interesting thing about this case of mistaken identity, though, is that both these Chinese emperors were renowned for their cruelty. It is also said that Sun Bu, this is to say Sun Wu, who has come down to posterity in the name of Sun Tzu or Sun Zi, author of The Art of War, a servitor of the king of Wu, employed 5 different kinds of information-gathering agents for planning an attack against the enemy. The 5 types of Chinese spies are local agents, Inko no Kan. These are trustworthy individuals, able to speak the enemy's language who gather information by carefully eavesdropping on conversations. They resemble the Japanese Dakonin. As mentioned earlier, Dako was the name for ninja in the provinces of Yamashiro and Yamato. Interior agents, Nairyo no Kan. These are enemy bureaucrats who can be won to your cause. Their work is of great importance. Because the enemy also employs officials like this, it is important to clearly master the recruitment and use of false spies. This method is also used in Japan, so discretion and caution are constantly required. Double agents, Hantok no Kan. These agents are enemy agents that are used like your own agents. These enemy shinobi are treated magnificently like friends. In Japan they are known as kaerinin or sorinin. If a deeply planted individual of this type is provided with false information, he or she will spread it wherever possible. They can be counted on to see this information soon becomes common knowledge. The means by which the intentions of these agents are penetrated is only transmitted orally, okuden. Sacrificed agents. Footnote. The corresponding kanji means death. Given the context, the term sacrificed seems to be an appropriate and correct translation. This technique of using sacrificed agents formed part of ninjutsu under the name of Hotarubi no Jutsu. A variation of this technique was called Tensoi no Jutsu. This came into play when an adversary ninja was unmasked, but not arrested. Instead, he was supplied with false or useless information that would serve to lead his master astray. Shicho no Kan. These are people who feel very grateful toward you and to whom you give useless information. Reusable agents, Tensei no Kan. These are individuals capable of easily entering enemy territory secretly and who always return with information. Other methods of using spies, the use of local contacts. To easily gain access to desired information about a targeted province, the technique of talking to the local residents, kyodo, is used. The best thing is to make friends with the local inhabitants and maintain contact with the common folk. It is also possible to interrogate the inhabitants of the villages when venturing into unknown territories. It is said in this regard that long ago Sasaki Saburo Moritsuna interrogated 2 men who lived near a cove, and they told him about a shallow spot where he could cross the river. He gave them a Shirasayamaki sword to express his gratitude. This technique is known as employing kyodo. The use of listening posts, gaibun or sotogaki. This method consists of having people outside enemy territory collect important information without sending them to infiltrate deeply into the region. It is possible to obtain information about an enemy territory without even entering it, simply by listening carefully. While using this method, it is extremely important to not trust false rumors, and to be quite capable of evaluating people correctly, as well as properly analyzing the information collected. The ninja, or shinobi no mono. Ninja is the Japanese variant of janje, or kanja. A shinobi operates by night or day, and never complains of any hardships. He resembles a nusubito, but a shinobi does not steal. Individuals like this, who easily gather information in even hard-to-reach places and can make their way back without problem from even roadless territories, are masters of the art of espionage. They possess the most highly developed skills. Thieves, nusubito. Nusubito are devoid of all moral standards and incapable of distinguishing right from wrong. They are indiscreet. For example, like predatory individuals hunting game, they scorn all the boundaries erected by gamekeepers to protect certain reserves, and they show no respect for life when they steal from a place. They should be considered as no more than individuals who possess petty skills. Chapter 3. The Supreme Principles of the Art of Shinobi, Ichiru no Shirai. The master says, the work of a shinobi takes him to the very borders of what an individual can tolerate, and it is only by exerting much effort that he is able to support it. These highly skilled individuals have to bear in mind when leaving their homes that they will never see those they love or their children again. Whoever returns home can rejoice for escaping his destiny. The shinobi places his heart beneath the blade of a sword. See introduction, page 5. Similarly, while many people believe that ninjutsu depends on magic, that is not exactly true. Ninjutsu is a practical art, and not the imposture of a charlatan. This is when the disciple asks, if one listens to the wind blowing, he hears that the art of the shinobi allows him to travel through inaccessible provinces and to soar over frontiers and customs posts that cannot be crossed. He hears that fathers and brothers are no longer able to recognize their own relatives who have become shinobi. Couldn't the use of this art, such as when a man, for example, is convinced that someone is standing right in front of him, then suddenly feels the presence of someone at his back, only to turn and see that what he had sensed has vanished, be compared to a mysterious rarity linked to no other tradition? Isn't this the art of practicing complete self-effacement when approaching people to glean information from them? The master answers, if a person follows a crude principle or an art of little refinement, then that person shall surely make mistakes. But the correct path is marvelous. There are times when a shinobi recognizes reality within his heart, wraps it in a cloak of illusion or non-reality, and presents it as reality. An experienced shinobi will recognize when an adversary is using the same principle and recognize the reality of the illusion. When necessary, the shinobi will also be able to speak the language of a province. He will be able to speak enthusiastically about a place's quality of life, make friends of the inhabitants of a foreign location, and obtain things without spending much money. He will be able to get what he needs to eat and drink, and not become drunk. Similarly, the art of the shinobi consists of learning tricks that can be used at critical moments, such as being able to disguise himself as a priest, a wandering monk, a woman, or a girl of the mountains, and hidden in the night, perform espionage. He should not come down to stay at inns, but sleep in open fields with no fear of wild animals and rut, or else he should be able to flee into the depths of the forest, using only the clarity offered by the wonderful light of the moon. A shinobi feels a certain kind of sorrow because of what he has to face, and the tricks he uses. But this is something he should never reveal to anyone. There is nothing extraordinary in all of this, and the person questioned about it by ordinary folk answers that he is just as ordinary, and nothing more. But this is also part of the shinobi's strategy. The illusion that has become reality belongs to the real. A shinobi should achieve his goal at the price of hard work, and if at times he strays along the way or his duty blinds his heart, he should never forget the principle of our school. And there you have it. Shoninki Jo, the introduction to the Shoninki. A book which I personally, and many other people besides, believe is full of useful information. I'm going to link down below to a website where you can get more information that will also be of use to you. This information will help you to discern when elitists are trying to manipulate you, and to attack you, and to victimize you. It will also teach you the tools that they use, and how to use them not to victimize others, but to aid in communication, and getting your point across to them as equals. This is Anyman, reminding you that you have the power, and you are the power. Use it wisely, and use it well.